Hi, welcome to SurvEngCalc Part 8. This is the latest update to the SurvEngCalc app, and this is a double rise and fall leveling procedure. Okay, what I'm going to do is just bring up a little picture just so we can discuss what we're going to be talking about. Okay, what we can see here is a reasonably standard rise and fall leveling run with back sights and foresights, and it's actually got some intermediate sights as well. Okay, what we've got here is we've got our benchmark, which is this here. This is a datum. Reduced level is 50 meters. Okay, and what we would do is set up our leveling instrument here, and then we would backsight this datum or benchmark, and then we'd pick up some intermediate sights A, B, and C, and then we'd finish off with a foresight there at D. Then we'd move our instrument to level position 2 or turning point 2, and then we'd back sight D, pick up the intermediate sight E, and finish there with a foresight at F. Then move the leveling instrument to turning point position 3. Then we'd back sight F, pick up the intermediate sight G, and we'd have a foresight at H there. Again, once we've done that, we'd move the leveling instrument to turning point 4 here. This would be the last couple of observations there. We'd make a back sight at H, and the final observation would be a foresight at J. Okay, now we could be doing this rise and fall leveling run for several reasons. I mean, one of the reasons is we could be trying to check a benchmark at the end here at J, okay, or we could be trying to establish a benchmark at J. And obviously we'd be establishing points along here as well, or we could be checking points along here that are already there. We're just doing some sort of monitoring, but it doesn't really matter because we still wouldn't know if we've made a mistake along this leveling run here. It could be the fact that there's already a benchmark there and we don't close, but that might not be due to the fact that this is wrong. It could be due to the fact that we've made a mistake along here. So the way we'd try to sort this problem out is we would normally do a second rise and fall leveling run, and we would just do the exact same leveling run as we just did in the first leveling run, but in reverse order. So when we get to turning point position 4 or level point 4 as they're calling it here, we would just readjust the instrument and then backsight J and do exactly the same principle. But we're not really interested in the reduced levels on the second leveling run. The only thing that we're interested in is the rise and falls, which should be, regardless of sign, pretty much the same as what the first leveling run was. And if they're not, then the chances are that's where you've either made a booking error or an observational error. And that's where the problem could be. Yeah, and for the purposes of running the app, I'll just say this now. What we'd do is all the leveling surveys, these might have names, some sort of name for them. But for the purpose of the application, we would actually number these points. So this would be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And for the reverse, going in reverse for the application procedure, we would just call this number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1. We would just name them the same, but in reverse order. Okay, now I'm going to show you how the app actually works. I'm just going to get rid of this now. Okay, we're going to go into the SurvEngCalc app, scroll down to rise and fall leveling. Just to give you a little rundown of what's going on here, I've actually put the input from top to bottom here, which makes it easier. So you can just put the input as you're going down here, put the information in, then just press calc. All of these buttons on the left hand side, these ones here, these are the editing buttons, and we don't need to touch any of these until the end of the app. These two buttons here, 2peg and StatTac, these are basically just little add-ons that I've put in there, and you can do the 2peg test for your level if you want, or you can do some stadia tachyometry. This is horizontal sights if you need to do that. So I've just put that in there as well as a little bit of an extra. And here is the instructions button. This has got a full set of instructions here for this page. So if you do get stuck, just refer to this page and this will tell you what to do. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 observations. Don't really need to do any more than that to show you what's going on here. So I'm just going to go straight into it. So I'm going to put a benchmark of 5.915 there. And then I'm going to do a backsite of 0.820 and a foresight of 4.642. No, actually, we're going to make that 3.2. Then I'm going to tick the corresponding boxes, backsite and foresight. Just press calc. And then going to go on to the next site, which is 0.765. No, that's a backsite. Then we're going to do a foresight of 1.382. Backsite, foresight, calc. And then we're going to do another backsite, 5.7. And then we're going to do a foresight of 1.384. Backsite, foresight, calc. Basically, you're getting the information down there, the reduced level and the rise and falls. If it's a positive, it's a rise. If it's a negative, it's a fall. When you press calc, this the first time you press it, the benchmarks are automatically locked into the app and it's saved. So if you want to call it up again on your next leveling run, if you're going to do the same one again, just call it up and it'll be there. Okay, what we can do now is we can go to print. This orientate device to landscape is if you was on a mobile phone, you'd need to do that because you wouldn't get all the data squeezed in portrait mode. So this is a digital output of what we've just done. So you've got your backsite there. We didn't do any intermediate sites. There's a foresight, and this is your rise or your fall. Obviously, if it's a negative, it's a fall, and there's your reduced level, and that's from points 1 to 3 down there. We're going to go to the second run. Basically the same thing, edit buttons down there. And the only thing on the second level run, you won't get an output of reduced levels. You'll only get the rise and fall values only because that's all we need just for comparison purposes with the first run. So I'm just going to put the backsite of the first observation in, which is 1.516. The foresight of 1.880. See, just a rise and fall there. 1.657. 1.040. And the last one, 4.644. And a foresight of 0.823. Always finish on a foresight. Backsite, foresight, calc. And again, we can print those just to have a look at those. And you'll notice they're in reverse order because we're going back up the run now. And not only that, if we get any problems with any points, they're in sync. So number 3 is at number 3, so we know exactly where we're going. It's number 3 on the first run. This is number 3 on the second run, so it's easy that way. Oh, and yeah, I was going to say what we can do is with this is we can actually copy this and send this data out via the share function. What I like to do is I basically just upload it to Google Drive from my device, and then if I want to download it to my computer, I just open it up in Google Docs from Google Drive and then download it from there as a text file. If you try to download it as a text file without opening it up in Google Docs, it seems to go all over the place. So just make sure you do that first. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to put a tolerance in there now, 0.003. So I want, by putting that in there, I'm saying I want all my rise and fall values to meet within a tolerance of 3 millimeters. So on the first run, it's got to match the second run by 3 millimeters. So the rise and fall. Oh yeah, I should tell you what was a rise in the first run would be a fall in the second run. But regardless of sign, the values should be pretty much the same, and I need them to match within 3 millimeters. So now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to press recalc. Okay. And straight away it's telling me reobserve points greater than specified tolerance. So if we look down here on the right, okay, if you look there, then the rise and falls are on the between the first run and the second run are greater than my specified tolerance by 6 mil, and it's the same down here as well for this point here. But the second point falls within my tolerance, so that will just come up as a 0. So that's a 0. And if you look, the first rise and fall value for the first run for that point there, point 1, is 3.812, and for rise and fall there is 3.821. Now that's pretty much 10 mil. So that tells me that was an observational error. So I've obviously misread the staff by 10 millimeters, and it's given me a difference there of 9 mil, which gives me a this is greater than my tolerance by 6 mil. So what I'd do is I'd make a note of those, or just screenshot this or copy it and paste it into something. Then what I'd have to do is close down the app. First of all, I close down this page. I'd have to close down the app via the Android's home button. Don't close down the app by the Android's recent apps button, because if you do that, you lose all your data. And this is the only procedure of any of my apps that you would close the app down by this method. So you would close the app down by the Android's device home button. That means when you reload the app, it will just resume from where you left off. But after that, after you finish with the app, you shut it down via the Android's recent apps button, and that will clear all the rubbish out. Okay. So what I've done there is I made a note of those. I would have gone out and reobserved points 1 and 3 to let's just have a look. So from there I would have set up here. And I would have reobserved this point and this point, because I didn't do any intermediate sites, so I don't have to worry about that. To find out which leveling run was correct, whether it was the first rise and fall or the second rise and fall. So from the newly observed rise and fall, it should either match the first rise and fall run or the second rise and fall run. And for instance, if it matched the second rise and fall run, then the rise and fall was out of tolerance. It was no good. So I could use that to alter the first rise and fall. So let's just get rid of that. So I've gone back to my first rise and fall. I know that it's on this one that I need to adjust. So I know that point 1 was rubbish, so I can find that. So I've got that as 3.812. It's a negative value, and it should be minus 3.822. So I'm going to remove it here. Click back into there, and it's going to be negative 3.822. Then I'm going to go replace. Just watch what happens to this box when I press replace. It will just go a slightly different color. I'll go replace like that, so it's lightened up. I know it's been replaced. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find point number 3, because that was rubbish as well. And it should be 0.363. So I'm going to remove that. 0.363. Let's just check to make sure that's right. That is right. I'm going to replace it. Now what I can do is I can press print just to check that these have been replaced. There it is, 3.822 and 0.363, which is there. It won't alter the reduced levels in this. All it is just to show you, just so you can check that you've replaced them okay. It will alter the reduced levels in a bit further on. So now I'm going to go back to run number 2, I'm going to press the recalc button again. And now we're brought up with this page here. It says adjusted rise and falls and corrected levels. So now, if you look, the rise and fall differences now, they're all good. And what it'll do then is, once they've been adjusted, it will mean the two rise and falls of the first run and the second run. With that sort of tolerance there, you'll probably only be nicking a millimetre on it. But if you're doing a long levelling run, then a millimetre on each rise and fall can probably make all the difference. Make the rise and fall run more accurate. And then what it'll do, because these have been adjusted and corrected, it'll adjust the reduced levels to suit as well. So they're the adjusted reduced levels from the mean and the corrected and mean rise and fall values. So basically that's it. And what this method actually does, it ensures that you stay under this tolerance here for the whole of the survey. So you can have a survey, a levelling survey, that's as long as you like. As long as you stick to within that tolerance, you're probably only going to be a maximum of 2 millimeters out all the way along the whole levelling traverse. So that's a way of getting a good accurate rise and fall levelling run. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to show you how to input intermediate sites there. So I'm just going to put a back site in of 1.570. No, not full site, an intermediate site of 1.578. What I'm going to do is click back site, intermediate site, calc. Now I want another intermediate site to go in there. So what I do is leave that intermediate site there, click intermediate site again, and I'll get another intermediate site box. And then I'm going to put 1.326, and then just press calc, and that 1.326 will jump up to the previous intermediate site. I want to put another one in, and I'm going to put 0.596. Press calc, and now I've had enough of putting intermediate sites in, so now I'm just going to finish on a 4 site. I'm going to put 0.453. So it's an intermediate site and a 4 site. I'm going to press calc. So you can put as many intermediate sites in there as you like, and just keep going. And then if we go to print, okay, and then it will show you my back sites, my intermediate site there. That was the first one. Then I did a back site and an intermediate. I did 2 intermediate sites there. That gives me the information here. And then I did another 2 intermediate sites there, gives me the information there. And then I finished up on an intermediate site and a 4 site, and I finished up with the reduced level there. So basically that's a digitized reading of that. And obviously you would do that in run 2 as well. So thank you very much.